Where does consciousness go after death? This is the final question that humanity has asked for thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians believed that the soul would sail on the sun boat to eternity. Buddhists say consciousness can be reincarnated in the cycle of samsara. In science fiction films, consciousness can even be uploaded to the cloud. Death is the most mysterious boundary in the universe, and consciousness, that makes us feel, where will my existence go when I pass away? Today, we will look at this from the scientific perspective, combining physics, neuroscience, quantum theory, and even philosophical and cultural thoughts to explore this mystery. Is consciousness a product of the brain, or is it some kind of mysterious code of the universe? Is death the end or the continuation of some form? Buckle up, let's dive into this journey, the journey of science and imagination. To find out where consciousness goes, we must figure out what consciousness is. Simply put, consciousness is your ability to perceive the world, the ability to think and feel that I am tells you about yourself. It tells you about yourself. How satisfied do you feel eating a hot bowl of ramen? Or when watching this video, with countless thoughts in your mind? Scientists believe consciousness comes from the 100 billion neurons in the brain. This results from their collective work. Each neuron is like a computer, communicating with others via electrical and chemical signals, weaving together your thoughts, memories, and emotions. For example, a 2023 study in Nature Neuroscience suggests consciousness may specifically be related to the cerebral cortex, synchronous firing in related regions, much like an orchestra playing a symphony. But when someone dies, the heart stops providing blood, the brain lacks oxygen, neurons gradually cease to function. Studies show, after clinical death, brain activity usually occurs for a few seconds to a few minutes, before it completely fades away. A 2023 study published in Nature observed the brains of patients who died due to hypothermia. Currently, people who report seeing a bright light or their soul leaving their body might be experiencing this due to a lack of oxygen in the brain. This chaotic neural activity, similar to the last flicker of a computer before it shuts down. Thus, the mainstream neuroscience view is consciousness is a product of the brain. The brain shuts down after death. Consciousness seems to vanish like a turned-off light bulb, completely disappearing. But that's only half of the story. Science has advanced further and proposes even wilder speculations. Let's continue exploring. Many have heard of near-death experiences. Some say they see a bright white light. Others feel as though they're floating outside their bodies. Some even report seeing deceased relatives or heaven. These experiences are considered evidence that consciousness departs from the body. Let's see what science says. In 2023, a study from the University of Michigan followed for deceased patients using EEG. They found that after the heart stopped, certain areas of the brain suddenly surged with strong gamma waves. These brain waves are usually associated with high alertness and memory processing. Researchers speculate this might be the origin of near-death experiences. Before the brain runs out of oxygen, it tries to preserve memories and awareness, creating a hallucinatory-like experience. For example, one patient recalled, when he was about to die, seeing the scene of his operating room, the incredible accuracy of the details. Is this consciousness actually leaving the body? Scientists tend to think this is the brain, the result of memory restructuring in an extreme state, like a surreal version of a dream. But there are also researchers who ask, if consciousness is entirely a product of the brain, why do some near-death experiences contain information that the patient could not possibly know? This is a question that science has yet to fully answer. Philosophers also have something to say about this. In the 17th century, Descartes thought consciousness or the soul could exist independently of the body. Death is simply the end of the body, and consciousness could travel to another dimension. Philosophers propose the possibility of immaterial consciousness. Consciousness may not be a direct product of the brain, but rather some more fundamental property of the universe. This makes us think about the latest speculations in quantum physics. Talking about quantum physics, things become more like science fiction. Some scientists believe that perception could be related to the microscopic phenomena of the quantum world. One of the most famous theories is that of Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff's quantum consciousness theory. They believe consciousness could arise from neurons, quantum vibrations in microtubules. These microtubules are the skeletons of cells. They can process information at the quantum level. This theory sounds good, but it has not been widely accepted. Critics argue that the environment inside the brain is too noisy. Quantum effects are unlikely to be stable enough to influence consciousness, but a 2024 paper in Physics Journal suggests that some biological systems may exhibit quantum entanglement, providing indirect support for the quantum consciousness theory. An even crazier hypothesis is, if consciousness has a quantum component, it may, after death, somehow spread into the universe. For example, quantum entanglement could allow information to exist in a non-local way, much like your consciousness data being stored in the cloud of the universe. Although this is just a theoretical conjecture, it recalls the three-dimensional universe proposed by cosmologists. Perhaps the entire universe is a gigantic network of information. Consciousness is just a small piece of code. Information theory also brings new perspectives. Some scientists argue that consciousness is essentially an information model. If we could back up brain information patterns, consciousness could exist in digital form. Elon Musk's Neuralink project in 2025. Complex neural signals have been extracted in animal experiments. Future signals may enable the upload of consciousness. Imagine this. Your consciousness is stored in a supercomputer or running on servers on another planet, just like Black Mirror becoming reality. Beyond science, human thoughts about the final outcome of consciousness never stop. The ancient Egyptians believed that, after death, the soul would be judged. Those worthy would enter eternal life. Buddhism believes it continues through reincarnation, carrying karma into the next life. Christianity describes the soul ascending. These beliefs, though lacking scientific evidence, still reflect humanity's deep interest in the shared hope of death, that consciousness may continue in some form. Modern philosophy is also exploring the nature of consciousness. For example, a new theory suggests that consciousness could be a fundamental property of the universe, as common as mass or energy. In 2025, philosopher Philip Goff proposed, consciousness may exist in all matter, only with varying degrees of complexity. Your consciousness may be a fragment of universal consciousness, and death is just a return to something greater. This view might sound mystical, but it aligns with quantum physics, which coincides with the conjectures of information theory. Perhaps consciousness is never isolated. It is part of the cosmic story. Future science may provide us with more answers, such as advancements in quantum computing, like the Chinese third quantum satellite, which broke world records in 2025, may help us simulate the brain's complex network, even decode the supercode of consciousness. Brain-computer interface technology, like Neuralink, could allow us to back up consciousness into the digital world. Even more interesting, if we discover that consciousness is connected to quantum fields or the cosmic information network, death might just be a shift in the form of consciousness, not the end. But it also raises ethical issues. Are you digitizing yourself or just your consciousness? If consciousness can be uploaded to the cloud, will we become immortal data or lose our humanity? Exploring the mysteries of consciousness is not just a scientific challenge, it's also redefining our existence. Where does consciousness go after death? Science tells us that consciousness may disappear when the brain stops functioning, but quantum theory, information theory, and philosophy open up countless realms of imagination. Perhaps death is the end, or maybe it's just another beginning. What do you think? Do you believe that consciousness will completely disappear, or do you expect it to continue in some form, moving through the universe? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If there are other scientific mysteries you would like us to explore, feel free to leave a message. Thank you for joining us on this interstellar scientific journey. If you liked this video, don't forget to follow,